Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Today, Democrats called it the most damaging testimony to date against the President of the United States. A West Point graduate with 50 years of service to the country testified that the president held up security aid to Ukraine in exchange for dirt on Vice President Biden and his family. And behind me on Capitol Hill, that diplomat, Ambassador Bill Taylor, is still testifying. Testimony that drew gasps inside the room because of his specificity and allegations. His opening statement has been published, and I can tell you it is worth reading. Weijia Zhang is at the White House tonight, where they're calling this all a smear campaign. But let's begin with congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill. Nancy?
Nora, if this were a trial, you'd call Ambassador Taylor the star witness. What he's been describing in great detail all day is exactly the quid pro quo that the president had been denying.
What led you to be concerned about a quid pro quo? Behind closed doors, Ambassador Bill Taylor described a secret campaign to pressure Ukraine, using U.S. aid as bait.
This is my most disturbing day in Congress so far. Very troubling.
Taylor was a recently retired, seasoned diplomat, pressed back into service this summer. According to his 15-page opening statement, Taylor encountered a highly irregular U.S. policymaking effort in Ukraine, engineered by President Trump and involving the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. By mid-July, Taylor said, it was becoming clear to me that the meeting Ukrainian President Zelensky wanted with President Trump was conditioned on the investigations of Burisma, the energy company that employed the son of presidential candidate Joe Biden. President Trump, he says, tightened the screws by suddenly withholding hundreds of millions in aid. Quote, President Trump was adamant that President Zelensky go to a microphone and say that he is opening investigations of Biden and 2016 election interference. Zelensky was even told to tell Mr. Trump specifically, quote, I will leave no stone unturned.
That is a very important statement from a very credible person.
Mr. Trump has urged Republicans to defend him more forcefully.
Mitch McConnell, he said that was the most innocent phone call that I've read.
But his penchant for exaggeration has put allies like Leader McConnell in a tough spot.
Do you believe that the president has handled this Ukrainian situation perfectly?
We've not had any conversations on that subject.
So he was lying about that?
You'll have to ask him. I don't recall any conversations with the president about that phone call.
Nancy joins us now on Capitol Hill. That was revealing. Let me also ask you this. Did Ambassador Taylor try to alert anyone while all of this was unfolding?
Yes, he says he alerted multiple people, Nora. In fact, he even says he sent a cable to the Secretary of State warning about what he called the folly of cutting off U.S. aid to Ukraine while it was facing a threat from Russia. He says he never got any response to that cable, but he did later learn that the secretary took it with him to a meeting at the White House. The aid was reinstated last month after bipartisan outcry here on Capitol Hill. And tonight, Nora, the White House continues to insist there was no quid pro quo.
So many fascinating details. Nancy, thank you.